Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hi, everybody. It's pretty sad when you have to do a radio show just so that you can actually relax. Hi, folks. It's me. It's Monday. Welcome to a Monday edition of Sin's Chat Corner, obviously happening now. Just to remind everybody, we have today's show with Chad at 1:30, obviously Central Standard Time, who is the director of Follow Your Dreams, part of the Art is Alive Film Festival. As a matter of fact, 90% of my shows this week are actually all going to be directors from my film festival. Tomorrow we're featuring 3 of the individuals that are associated with The Waiting Room, which is the director, Deborah Markowitz, along with 2 of the stars of the film itself, which is Jennifer Giles as well as Ciaran. Please don't hate me, Ciaran, if I said your name wrong. And they're both in the film, obviously. So they'll be coming on the show tomorrow with Deborah Markowitz, and that's going to be 1 o'clock Central Standard Time tomorrow. And then we have on Wednesday 2 more filmmakers. We have both Pete Dorton, who is with the film Lou, and then, of course, we have Junie Moon Schreiber, who is, of course, Shed the Shame. Most of these films, by the way, folks, are going to be showing on the very first day of my festival, with the exception, of course, of I can't even think anymore, The Waiting Room, which is going to be showing on Saturday, and one of the dramatic short blocks. And then, of course, Thursday we're going to round out the rest of the week with Elizabeth Rome, actually. To those of you that may not be familiar with the name, one of her biggest productions that you might remember her from is the production of, oh my God, what is up today? I am totally not with this. I'm totally in film festival mode, folks, so I apologize. American Hustle, along with some of the new stuff she's doing on Crackle TV. She just did a promotion, as a matter of fact, with the American Red Cross for the Puerto Rico hurricane situation. So I'm so pleased and proud to be having her on the show. Plus, she is also a SAG Award winner. I don't get a whole lot of those on my show, so I'm terribly excited, not to mention the fact she's breathtaking. And she's a client of Steve Valentine, who we just had on the show last week with Valentine Group LA. So please make it a point to tune in today, tomorrow, frankly, all week if you can. I would appreciate it. Obviously, I have to do a very large, shameless plug for my festival, which is Art is Alive Film Festival.yolasite.com is the website. We have a Facebook presence, which is Art is Alive Film Festival. Please, please, please make sure that you check that out, because obviously the festival, all the screenings, all of the ticket links, everything you need are off that website. Again, it's Art is Alive Film Festival.yolasite.com. Festival is now running, instead of the 26th to the 28th, yes, I get to stay an extra day, the 26th to the 29th. I will be in New York City on the 25th to get prepared for the 26th. We will have screenings every day. The 26th, we're starting at 11 a.m., going to 7, then taking a bit of a break, coming back for a nighttime block from 10 to 11:30. Tuesday's films, we're going to be starting off at 11 o'clock in the morning and ending at 8 o'clock. Wednesday's screenings, we're actually starting at 10 o'clock in the morning with an industry panel and then screening through 6 o'clock, so Cindy gets a Saturday night out. Yay! And then to wrap up our festival on Sunday, we'll be starting at 4 o'clock and then going all the way through up till 11, which, of course, at the tail part of the evening, we're going to be having our live music and award ceremony. So we've kept it reasonably priced, $5 per screening, $5 for a feature block, $15 for a day pass. New York City, that's pretty accommodating. I'm not going to lie about that one. So hopefully I'll see one of you. Hopefully I'll see 1,000 of you. I'm so excited to be doing this festival. I can't even tell you. But word to the wise, if you ever think about doing this, think very hard. Let me tell you why. 25 filmmakers for one. That's number one, okay? They're all pretty nice, actually. I lucked out, truthfully, and got some of the best filmmakers I could possibly have found. So I feel tremendously blessed by the fact that I'm working with so many of these folks. Second of all, I am truly excited by the fact that 3 of these screenings are specific and socially relevant, meaning by that one of them deals directly with the very, very scary, very big social issue nowadays, which is, of course, drug addiction. That would be the Frog March. That's going to be showing at 5:45 on Sunday the 29th. Second of all, we have The Right to Live, which is on our very first day, and that's at 12:30 on the 26th, and that deals with domestic abuse of all types, and that's just not men to women, by the way, and it's not just the fists that we're talking about. So those are both socially relevant. I'm also so excited on Friday the 27th to be at 12 to 2 o'clock. We will be having the screening of Man in Red Bandana, which I know is already screened in New York City, but we're going to do it again because it's such a powerful and poignant story. 24-year-old Wells Carruthers was a gentleman who worked in the South Tower of the World Trade Center, and on 9/11 he was responsible for saving the lives of at least 10 people. And so this documentary, which was put together by Matthew Weiss, maninredbandana.com is the website, and basically he went in, literally saved their lives. Most of them remembered him by the red bandana, actually. It was kind of his signature trademark. So it's neat. They rallied together Lyle Lovett to put some music together for the film. They had Gwyneth Paltrow narrate the film, and you'll find out there's a special connection there. And so, of course, what I've decided to do is to invite all the different 911 organizations. We're going to donate some money to the trust itself. The Wells Carruthers Trust, by the way, it's W-E-L-L-E-S. Crowther is C-R-O-W-T-H-E-R. Look it up online if you would. They've started a charitable trust. This is an amazing story. I mean, there have been babies named after this gentleman. They do walks every year. They've literally had stage productions. They have musical performances and or groups that are named after Wells. It's just amazing the impact that he's left. I don't even think I can begin to describe how impressive it is. So please come and check that out. Plus, we have Sari Singer, who is the founder of Strength to Strength, who is also a terrorist attack survivor. She actually was on a bus in Jerusalem that was taken over by a terrorist group. Lucky to be alive, and I'm so blessed that she is going to be taking some time out of her busy schedule to attend our film festival. Celebrity event details are coming out this week. Yes, I know you've all been waiting for that. So yeah, I'm super, super excited. So I'm trying to encourage everybody to go to the website and buy your tickets ahead of time. And why? Because nobody wants to walk around New York City with all that money. Why lie about it? So the reality is if we can get you guys organized and get you guys to order your tickets, that would be great. If you wait till the last second, there's not much I can do about that. But we are working on trying to get the word out, so please make sure that you do so. Second of all, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who was part of orchestrating and or attending the fundraiser yesterday for A Labor of Love. That, of course, benefits the Village Playhouse, and it took place at the Inspirational Studios, which is where I had my film event here in Milwaukee. So I'm so glad to be able to see that everything worked out okay in terms of those guys getting an opportunity to get the word out about the Playhouse and raise funds, because theater is so important in the Milwaukee area. Unfortunately, sadly, a lot of our artistics out there are just not in existence any longer in terms of we're just losing more and more art in the school district. We're just not where we need to be in terms of getting those programs out and about. And what's nice about the Village Playhouse is that they promote not just adult productions but also child productions, meaning that they get an opportunity to be able to go out into the community, offer seminars, offer classes, work with teenagers. It's exciting. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I would love to be able to do a stage production here in Milwaukee. Apparently, my endeavors are more New York than they are Milwaukee lately because I'm fortunate enough to find people that want to work with me there versus here. I don't know why it's such a problem, but okay, fine. So, yeah, so definitely I'm glad to hear that that worked out well. As you all know, in case I didn't make mention of it, you guys should be checking out meditatingbunny.com. Let me tell you why. Jeff Sheba Stearns, and I was very fortunate to be invited to the actual screening. Madison has what they call an Asian American documentary film series, and I was fortunate enough to be invited to come up there yesterday. So we headed up to UW-Madison, went to the 7 o'clock screening of the movie Mix Match. And folks, if you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely need to. It's actually going to be headed off, as I understand it, to iTunes and Amazon and some of the other platforms. It documents the story of 5 different individuals who come from a mixed situation, meaning they have either children or grown adults that come from mixed ethnicities. And what's complicated about that is it's hard enough to have any form of blood cancer to begin with, but then find out that you are actually mixed, meaning that you come from Japanese American background or, for instance, African American and Native American. The more mixed you become, the more difficult it becomes for you to receive donations as it relates to just making a point of being able to get out there and get yourself a donor. People spend years, literal years, on a donation list waiting to be able to get an opportunity to get a donor, and it's heart-wrenching. Some people actually end up passing away, no different than my friend Phil, who, of course, is on the heart donation list. It's scary when we think about the amount of complications that can arise by getting a diagnosis of cancer. And in this particular case, some people actually need to get donations to be able to literally live. And so what I found most intriguing was watching and journaling those 5 stories last night. It was an amazing adventure. I mean, just to watch them, it was heart-wrenching, it was touching. So I guess the message to you folks is if you can get an opportunity to get out and donate, get on the there's a means by where, and last night they had a volunteer drive at the film screening, and so I walked up and I tried to offer my name to become a donor, and sadly, the cutoff is 44. Yeah, that's right. I just said my age on there, which means because I'm 48, I cannot be listed as a donor directly, meaning I have to go through a process online, and then you have to pay for the form to get processed, etc. But from what I saw within the film, it's really not that complicated. There's only 2 types, and typically most of them are bone marrow types, in which case then it literally is just a matter of going in. It's a 4 to 6 hour procedure. It's really not painful because they put you under anesthesia. And in essence, that blood, that transfusion is saving another human being's life. So I cannot stress enough. Get out there, get involved, go to a drive, do what you need to do. At least, if nothing else, watch the film, pass it along. I'm sure Jeff will be back on my show again. Again, the name of it is called Mixed Match, which is a documentary film. His name is Jeff Shiba, that's C-H-I-B-A, and it's Stearns, S-T-E-A-R-N-S. You'll see him on my Facebook page if you follow me on social media. He was on my show a couple months ago, so you can see the interview there through Blog Talk Radio. And on my Instagram, I actually have a picture because not only does he do just film, but he also does illustration. So, again, the website is meditatingbunny.com. Check him out. I got a beautiful new portrait in my house, courtesy of Jeff, and I had Touching in My Heart by his film. So thanks so much, Jeff, for inviting me. We have a guest. I'm so excited. So Chad is finally here, so I can stop talking, well, kind of, and we can start listening to Chad talk. So let's get him on the line. Well, hi, Chad.
Hello. How are you?
You're here. You're here. The director's in the house. I'm so excited.
Via the internet. I am here.
I'm so excited because I was like, oh, boy, how long am I going to have to keep talking here? But I did ad-lib quite well, and I talked about the festival. So I'm like, this is good. And I talked about my screening last night. So all is well.
Oh, good.
You're here. You're like,
yes.
You're my only sanity today. Like, literally, this is my only downtime before I get my children. And then I have kids all night, and then I have to promote the festival till the wee hours for the next 10 days. So I feel like I'm going insane.
Yeah.
So
you have a lot of work to do with this festival. Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad. We'll be all zen together. We'll relax.
And there's alcohol. That's what I always say. I'm like, if you really get desperate, there is wine that's involved. So I'm like, okay, so that's always a good thing. It's scary, you know. I mean, you're on the filmmaker side of things. I'm on the film festival founder side of things. So, you know, the expectation for me is making a lot of things happen for a lot of people. So I really don't want to screw it up. So I'm like, no pressure here. Absolutely no pressure. So we'll see. But we want to talk about you today, not about me.
No, but I mean, you know, that is part of like being a filmmaker, film festival, whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
You know, you can't really be concerned about, like, if you're worried about, like, when I'm making a film, if my concern when I'm making this film is, you know, I hope everybody likes it, I hope, you know, that it's the most successful film ever, then the product is not going to be as successful as it could be. Like, you know, when you're doing art, we're in the middle of making a festival, when you're a painter or a dancer or actor, whatever it is, you know, you can't really, you can when you're setting up the festival. Yes, you have a lot on your plate and you have a lot of balls in the air, as they say. And at some point you just have to like, you do your job. The festival's going to go on. It's going to be very successful. People are going to show up, and
they are.
You know, end of that. We've all been to these festivals where there's this anticipation, or like making a film. You know, like writing a film, directing it. There's all this anticipation. Am I going to get enough money? Are people going to like it? Do I have anything to say of value? You know what I mean? And at the end of it, you know, I think as artists and as people, you know, working in this industry, you have to be, you know, true to yourself. And from what I can tell from the website and the films that you're promoting and the things that you talk about, you know, this is, and I think it's what is it? The blurb, the very first blurb about your festival is, what does it say?
Oh, I should know, shouldn't I, considering it's my festival? Oh, you mean autobiography?
Yeah,
it says right there, and I'm very clear about this, and folks, just so you know, because they listen to me say this all the time, and I'll be the first one to be candid.
Well, I mean, the art is a live festival. Like, you're bringing art.
Right.
Like, I mean,
bring art alive
in the name.
again. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's totally all about that. And I'm like, I have to ask this question because we're going to start off with this because literally, folks, you guys don't know this, but I literally had to tell 25 filmmakers yesterday, hey, guess what? Really great news. And I thought it was really great news, but I was petrified because I'm like, now I have to tell 25 filmmakers 10 days before a festival. I had the good fortune of coming across a venue that offered all 4 days of our festival for free. Now, to those of you that are in New York,
which is
it's
amazing.
damn expensive. It's damn expensive. I won't lie. And then I'm sitting here and I'm thinking,
LA. LA is just as much. It's just as expensive out here.
Serious?
Now, so.
Oh my God. So I'm sitting here last night and I'm like,
100%.
oh my God, they're all going to hate me because I'm literally jumping ship the last minute. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I could give $2,000 to a venue or I could give $2,000 to filmmakers. I'm going with filmmakers, folks. So sorry that we had to change everything.
Or exactly. Like I think the film you were just talking about, which is it was like a documentary about what was it about cancer survivors? So
it's about
I would think
cancer people.
Yeah, so $2,000 to them is much better than renting a venue.
Yeah, because here's the hint, folks. I'm not trying to diss any festival because I say this all the time. I know the Servinos and I know a bunch of people who head up festivals, and they work their butts off, and I give them nothing but love and mad respect and crazy credit. But I'm here to tell you right now, folks, filmmakers need money. There's no hiding about this because you can't make a film with $5. It's just that simple. And if we are going to do a festival,
you can make a film. I mean, listen.
Really, I'm asking right now, Chad. Tell us how we're going to do a $5 film. I want to know because I'm going to tell my kids that they're going to get all excited. We're going to be like, let's do a $5 film tonight.
Okay, maybe that's the preparation. I mean, you do have to get a camera and you do have to get some editing software and you do have to do things like that. But I think everybody has access to that to some extent. The new iPhone has a 4K camera in it. Like literally, you can shoot a feature on your phone and edit it with Final Cut, and design your own music. You can make a $5 movie if you want to. Like, I mean, yes, it's not going to look like the new Blade Runner,
not going to look like that.
I've been to a lot of festivals, and I have seen people make some incredible, amazing, short films or feature films, and really on really little budget. And it just depends on who you know, how creative you are, and then it's just about discipline and and putting the work in and I think for me, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm super plan call. You know what I mean? Like when I'm going to do a project I am a big believer in preparation. So I do a lot of, I have worked on the script for many, many months, if not a year or longer. And then when I go into pre-production, I know, my team and my people and concepts and what it is that I want to accomplish with this. I make sure that somebody has to steer the ship. So I just have to be really clear about what it is that I am doing. And, then you end up with a product, hopefully, that you in your mind have envisioned. So, yeah, $5. We've also seen gigantic features. I mean, there was a couple features that just came out Blade Runner. I mean, it's an amazing film. But there was, what was another one? Oh, there was another big budget one that was one of the most expensive science fiction, something that just came out recently, and you watch it and you're just like, wow, like I think 160 million, I don't know, it was like some like crazy amount, and you watch it and you're like, really? You're like, that's what you did with 100? You're like, it was
I know.
Visually beautiful, but you're like, wait, somebody forgot to write a story.
I agree with you.
In
Definitely.
my opinion. In my opinion.
No, in my humble opinion, he says. Okay, well, so that's a bit about Art of the Live Film Festival, folks. So I can't tell you enough, but I'll be telling you for 10 days solid now that you could come and meet the guy that's on the other end of the phone. Now I'm going to tell you why you want to come and meet him, because he's so fabulous. And I'm in awe of you. Literally bending over. You just can't see it, but I'm totally bending over. And I will bend over in person when I see you and be like, oh, my God, I'm not worthy. Here he is.
Oh, my. You're
he's
so
the
silly.
man.
We're all the same. It's all the same stuff. Trust me, I wish I was that awesome.
No. Okay. Well, we're about to show the entire audience how you're awesome. So let's begin. First thing I want to start with is,
Okay.
I know you were educated to the University of Oregon, so you got your BA there. So how does a guy that starts off in Oregon end up going to the big Hollywood, meaning LA, of course, because we know you live in LA right now?
Right.
Oregon, way different lifestyle, way different life period versus that. So tell us a bit about your background and coming up, et cetera, in terms of, were you the one with the camera in your eye and like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to Hollywood?
No. My background is in psychology and education, and theater. So when I was studying education, and I have always been what I do in Los Angeles is I'm a writer, I'm a director, but I'm an acting coach as well, and I've been coaching and teaching for 20 some odd years. And I graduated and I did theater, and I moved to Los Angeles, and I was like, I liked acting. I did quite a bit of it, but it was funny because it wasn't like my true calling, like, oh my gosh, I need to be in front of the camera. But I have to say that all the time that I spent on stage, or that I did, whatever TV shows and commercials and films that I did, all of that informed and helped me, become the writer and director and the person that I am today. So it was, I was in Oregon, I graduated, and honestly, most of my friends moved to New York, and the plan was, in my head, I was like, I'm just going to go to, California. I'm going to go to Los Angeles for like a month, maybe 6 months or something like that. I just wanted to come down here and, be warm because it's so cold in Oregon and rainy. And I came down here, and honestly, not to sound too, like just spiritual, but when I got to Los Angeles, literally, I was like, wow, this is where I'm going to spend the next, big portion of my life. And I've been here now for 30 years.
Aww.
So it was true. And I fell in love with it. A lot of people, now people are really, it's kind of changed in the last 5 years where people, they really love Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is an amazing place. I just think it had kind of a bad rap, and people were like, oh, LA, it's this and that and whatever. But it's a great place, for film and television and what, the industry I work in. Right. I can't imagine being anywhere else. So that's how I ended up here. I didn't really plan on staying here, but when I got here, it was home, and it was amazing.
See, now I feel the exact same way about New York City. Because when I go to L.A., you people scare me. I say this all the time because I've only been to L.A. a few times. But you guys kind of scare me. I think it's more well, first of all, there's traffic, and that makes me super nervous because I could never make it to the city. I got lost last time I was there. But I'm like, now just follow the palm trees.
There's Uber and Lyft. Like, listen, I don't drive anywhere. I have a loft.
Really?
I have a I live work loft. So my studio, my production company is in it's 3 floors, and I live on, my studio is on the bottom. So I don't drive. And when I go places, I just Uber and Lyft. I'm like, you guys, I don't want to do it. It's awful. No, traffic is ridiculous. It takes me 4 hours to get 2 blocks. No, it's awful. But it is. Driving in New York is not any easier. It's terrifying.
Well, yes, that's exactly why I want to live there, because I live in Wisconsin now, and I drive everywhere, and it's driving me nuts. And I can't wait to move to New York, because I am going to move to New York in about 5 years. And this way, I can give up the car. I don't have to pay insurance. I don't have to pay $200 to register. It's crazy. I'm like, this is madness.
I got rid of my car 10 years ago.
Exactly. And isn't it nice?
I got rid of it.
Excuse me.
It definitely was an adjustment. LA is such a car culture, and it was definitely, people were like, what? They thought I was crazy. And I was like, but I really like it.
You don't have a car?
No.
Oh, yeah, well, at least in
no,
New York.
I made that. I don't have cable, and I don't have a car. I have Apple TV. I make the leap.
Oh my
early.
God.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
You gotta be ahead of the curve there.
Oh, my God. Okay, sorry. I'll have to get on that whole other thing. Yeah. Well, we just got cable recently, actually, because I have kids. You know, my kids are like 10 and 12, and so, of course, there's certain series that they want to watch. And I'm not going to lie. Now, I interview people from TV, so I kind of, it's like my homework, you know, so I almost have to have it. But we live in a tech-savvy world nowadays, and there's so many options.
I have TV. I have, like, all of that stuff. I just don't have, like, 12,000 stations that I don't know I don't. You know, I don't. Get what I mean? Or whatever it is. Like, I do. I don't know what that means.
No,
my dog used to watch film and TV. So, you know, that's. Listen, I watch a new show every day. That's, if you're going to live in the middle of Los Angeles, you better know what's happening in the industry.
Oh, I agree with you, definitely, because that is one of the happening places without a doubt. And I'm coming there next month, so I'm petrified. I got to do the New York thing, and if I don't have a heart attack from my festival, then I have to go to California for work. So I'm, like, trying to prep up and get, like, excited about it, like, yay, I'm at that stage, like, hopefully it'll be, next month.
I'll show you around. It's super easy, super fun.
Oh, my God, that
all
was
the
awesome.
Great places. Yeah, no, it's.
Okay.
I mean, other than the fact that people here, like, the intimidating thing is, like, one person is better looking than the next person. Like, there's so many like, amazing, gorgeous people here. It's kind of weird. But,
exactly.
you know, that's, you know, they come here and there's a lot of work for models and, you know, all those actors and all that kind of stuff.
They're all beautiful.
So they're all here. They all come to L.A.
Okay. Well, I guess I got to come to L.A. now. Yeah.
You will.
Okay, I'll work on that enthusiasm.
You'll be fine.
I will. I'll fit in. I'll try. Yeah. Now, part of your past, obviously.
There's amazing food. Huh?
Really?
Did
you just say amazing food in L.A.? Really?
I mean, we have.
Serious?
Yes, we have. I think we have some of the best restaurants in the country now. I mean, we have some of the best food in Los Angeles. I think we passed New York a little bit. So I'm not going to say that. I don't know that for sure, but we have some. Listen, we have some amazing food out here. I mean, the problem with LA is it's big, so there is some traveling to get to different kind of places and different food. But if you're a foodie, this is the place to be. We can eat our way through the town.
Try new stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try a bit of different things because I'll be in different areas in California. It's not like I'm just coming there to go to LA. So I think that'll help too. I have been to San Diego. San Diego was nice. When I went to the film festival there, that was cute, and I liked it, and it wasn't so LA. You know what I mean? I think if I just stay away from like right in the middle, it's different. So now we want to talk about
Well,
more
if you
of your
come and
background.
visit me, I live directly in the middle. I live literally in the middle of Hollywood. So don't be scared.
Oh, great. Yay! I'm working on it. See, it's getting exciting right now.
Okay.
Now, this is so cool. For 4 years, you were co-artistic director for Golden State Theater, which I think is so cool because I have a huge affinity for theater, almost as much as film.
Right.
So talk to the folks a little bit, those that are listening in that may not have had the theater experience, how it varies from being in the film industry, and have you returned back to those roots in the last few years, or do you ever intend to?
I love the theater. Obviously, LA, I would not say is the place to come if you want to do theater. I would recommend Seattle, Chicago, New York, Dallas. I don't know, somewhere like LA is not really that. But when I graduated and I moved to Los Angeles, that was a natural, it was a safe place for me to be. Like I had been doing theater. Sure. I came down here. I met some people, and they had part of how that all happened is I worked with the Los Angeles Music Center's education division, where we toured into schools. I was one of those people who went into schools, and we did in the cafetorium, we did shows about the history of California and the history of musical instruments, or whatever the show was for that school. And from that, I worked with this company, and then I just started working with them, and they were doing, I really liked them. They're really super cool people. They did all original productions of kind of retelling of stories, but they had a moral, and We did teach we did teach some like workshops in the summer for kids, and they're really basically just, musical theater kind of stuff. So that kind of transition, it was easy for me. I got down here and literally I got a job the week after I moved to Los Angeles, and this is a really crazy story. So I had moved down here. I didn't know anybody, and there's a newspaper called like Backstage or Backstage West or whatever it was called at the time, and it had job listings, and there was this job listed to come work with this education program and go into the schools and do like these stories of California, the history of whatever. And I called them, and they're like, "Oh, we actually cast that show," and they were like, "But you know what? Come on over, and we'll see you anyway." And so you had to go and do a monologue and sing a song or something like that. And so I went there, and they bumped somebody, and I got the job. So
Oh my God!
And then I feel awful. I don't know who it was. Thankfully, I don't know who that was, but. So I got this job, and that's how I started working with these people, and one thing led to another, and then I partnered with the woman who ran the Golden State Theater, and then I directed some of their productions, and then at some point I started to co-write with her, and we did that. I did that. I was the co-artistic director for like 5 years, but I think I worked with them for probably 7-8 years or something like that. I worked with them for quite a long time. I don't think they do shows anymore, but it was great. It was a nice, easy transition, and that really, I did a little more theater when I was in Los Angeles, just because when you first get here, or when I first got here, that was comfortable to me, and that's something that I knew. And but then from there, I got a job. The transition is that I worked on a Star Trek series in the 90s, and it was the first time that I was on a set. I worked on this show for like 9 months, and it was like 2 sound stages at Paramount. It was like I don't even know how much each episode cost, but it's obviously, when they're a Star Trek series, there's a lot of people involved, and I always tell the story that it was the best class I ever got paid to take. You know what I mean? I was being paid to be there. We worked 17 hours a day or 12 hours or whatever it was. And it was really the bridge between theater and film and television for me, that I was like, because I could sit there and be on set all day long and watch these directors. I mean, the directors rotated every week, and watch these actors and watch the guest stars and watch all this stuff. And I was like, and really without any pressure on me, because I just was like, there was like these 5 people who were these secondary characters who, helped fly the ship and things like that. So I did that for 9 months, and it was really one of the most valuable classes for me, that I don't know how you would get that kind of information, how you would get that kind of knowledge and understanding if you're not just in it. And that's what happened for me for those 9 months. I did that, and I was like, okay, now I see how this works, and then from there I, changed course and started, writing and directing, and then now I'm over here.
You betcha. And in fact, folks, he's got 9 credits as a director, meaning 6 for TV and 3 for film. So I have questions, because I, of course, am a fellow writer. So one of the things that we like to talk about on the show, is because a lot of creatives listen to the show. I want people to understand that there is a clear difference, at least in my opinion, because I haven't written anything for TV. I've written film, I've written theater, and I've written all sorts of other things. And you've had the good fortune, of course, of writing for television. So speak a little bit about the 2 different forums, meaning I think people always equate that TV is kind of similar to being in film, which I don't believe it is, just like writing TV is not the same as it's writing for film. So speak a little bit about your comfort level writing the two different genres, and then second of all, in terms of some of the body of works that you've done writing-wise, please tell me you have the cure for writer's block. Because every time I have a writer come on, I'm like, dude, talk to me about how you're doing the block thing. Because I go in and out of writer's block like every other week it seems. And I'm like, everybody's got their own methodology, so talk a bit about that if you would as well.
Well, let's see. There's a lot of questions. Let me see. The first thing that I was like, where does one begin with all of that? Here's the thing. As far as do you know Malcolm Gladwell, the writer Malcolm Gladwell? Do you know the book Outliers?
I don't think so. Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
So you should read it. It's really, I find his writing fascinating. He's super interesting, and he talks a lot about the 10,000-hour rule, which means until you put in 10,000 hours into something, you can't really call yourself an expert. So, that being said, as a writer, you have to be logging those hours, and yes, you're gonna even writer's block. While you're sitting there and you're not being able to write, those are hours towards your 10,000 hours, you know what I mean? So I think there's for me, this is how I do it. Like I run that writing and directing, and I get that that's, it's artistic and all of those kind of things, but ultimately is a business. So for me, I schedule time at my desk to work. So I'm coming down here, I'm going to go to my office and I'm going to write today. And I say I'm going to be there for 4, 5, 6 hours, and I sit there for 4 or 5 or 6 hours, regardless of if stuff comes out of me. If I'm writing and I'm being prolific and amazing things are happening, that's neither here nor there. The point is, I said I'm going to be there, and so I'm there. And what happens is you sit there long enough, and eventually, for me, what happens is that I move through it. And then even if I look at it like this, like it's kind of like going to the gym. Like sometimes you go to the gym and you work out for a half hour and you're like, all right, it wasn't the best workout in the world, but I went to the gym. Okay. And the same thing with writing. Sometimes I sit down here I see the sun come up and the sun goes down, and I'm like, maybe I rewrote one scene. Maybe I came up with something, and sometimes I've written entire, episodes of shows or whatever, but it doesn't matter if it's like one sentence or if you've just cleaned something up or you've written a whole film or whatever that is. The point is you have to relax into it. You have to relax into what it is, and you just have to be, it's like yoga, like you said, it's just like about being able to be present. And I think for me as an artist, I think I have to be okay with sometimes great stuff isn't pouring out of me, and sometimes it is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know exactly
what it is. Like there's no way to be like, I'm not going to have writer's block today, because you don't know that. It just is, I do have to say that I do a lot of writing. I hike a lot. So when I'm not in front of my desk and when I'm hiking, I can envision the script, and I can envision things that I'm working on, and I can actually write whole scenes in my head and ideas and concepts. And then I get back to the car, and I immediately, just like in this notebook, I always have a notebook with me, and I'm like, I write it all down. Like I write down this thought and that piece of dialogue and this kind of thing. And I have notebooks and more notebooks, and then I come back down and I start to write it really, but I have to say that I'm working on a TV series right now, and I'm doing 12 episodes. I just finished episode 10 the other day. And this is something I've been thinking about and working on for a year. And what happens at the end of each episode when I finish it, I go back into these notebooks and I literally read all of my notes from the very beginning to get me to the next episode, because there are things in there that I'm like, I forgot that, and making sure that all the dots are connected and everything's threaded through, and that I'm not going off on some weird tangent that
Sure.
that doesn't serve the purpose of the story or something like that. But that's how I look at it. And listen, there are times when nothing is coming out of me, when I'm not being creative. And you know what I do? I'm like, okay, today I'm going to go for a hike, or I'm going to walk the dogs, or I'm going to, I don't know, go watch a movie. I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
It just is what it is. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody has writer's block. We all have it. And, it's just about, I have an exercise ball that I sit on. So when I usually just like do a handstand or lay upside down and let all the blood rush to my head and see if anything happens.
So well put, actually. Some of the best writing I did, I hate to admit it. Oh, my God. I just wrote the Q&A panel for my festival. And it was damn good writing. I was like, go, Cindy. I'm like, yes, once again, you're writing about somebody else. But I was just so pleased. I was like, oh, it's flowing really well. So either I like you guys a lot because I tend to write really good about people that I like, or it's just different. I don't do Q&A all the time. So I'm like, this is kind of cool. So, yeah, your Q&A is written, and it's pretty badass. So I'm excited to be doing it. I want to ask you something. You used to be an actor at one point in time. Not every director, by the way, gets to be an actor, which is kind of cool. And some of the things you were on, which I think is awesome, 90210 and Party of Five and Young and the Restless. I so love my soap people. I totally do. You know why? I think soaps keep you grounded. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I've interviewed some people from TV, and they're like, and don't get me wrong, some of this is, I think, reality TV, because they're like, I'm living in hell.
Lord. That's
completely changed my life, blah, blah, blah.
Other thing. Yeah.
You know it is. And then there are some people that are like, I think soap in some ways, like soap operas, I think kind of prepare you for some of the other things that are out there. So I want to ask you an actor question, of course, because do you truly believe that your background in acting, because I know you're also an acting coach, do you think being an actor was kind of a prerequisite for being able to teach people about that? I mean, meaning, are you a more effective teacher because you come from that? Because I know that there are acting teachers out there who've never spent a day on set in their lives, and they still manage to do quite well.
Oh.
So I'm curious to see, did a lot of that obviously come from you acting yourself? And plus, did you enjoy I just can't see you as an actor, and that's no diss, man. Seriously, I love your directing, and I think that you're perfect.
No, trust me.
But
listen, I liked acting. I found it amusing to be over there, but it's not, to me, and I always kind of describe it in a painting sort of way. So, like, if I used to paint, I still love to paint. That's something I had to put away because I was like, oh, that's a whole other world. But when you're painting, you get the canvas, you pick out the paints, you think about what you want to do, you sketch, you paint, you step away, you come back, and 6 months, a year, however long it takes, whatever. Eventually, the painting is done, and you look at that, and there's this for me, there was this. I was very satisfied by the end result. I went through this whole process and I came out on the other end with this piece of art, and I liked it a lot. The thing about acting to me, and this is how it is for me, and for people who really are just like, I am an actor, that they experience it very differently. But for me, acting is just a piece of the puzzle. So I liked it, but I always felt like when I was on set and I was working and the director and everybody else was over there, I always was looking at them going like, I was like, I want to be with you people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be here. I need that completion, like, and, doing television and film and stuff like that. That's the whole process. You come up with a concept, you write it, you spend time with it. You get the money, you put your team together, you go into pre-production, you film it, you edit it, you find music, you color correct it, you do everything, and at the end of it, you're like, you're done, and you get to be. For me, it was just a lot more. It was a lot more satisfying, and again, the other thing too is I also think that, you have to listen to what life is presenting you, what it's offering you. And one of the very first things that I directed, it was, I think in 2003 or something like that. these people who asked me to do this short film for them, they were like the third, fourth, or fifth, group of people who were like, would you direct this? Would you direct this? And I was like, no, I don't direct that stuff. I don't know what that is. And then after someone else asked me, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, you're like the 10th person who's asked me to do something like this. And I was like, I probably should say yes, because it keeps showing up in my life. So, that's how, this has kind of unfolded. But, a lot of actors, they definitely being an actor, my perspective on directing is very different than a lot of directors who come out of a more technical kind of training where they deal a lot with the cameras and, they're dealing with more technical aspects of directing. And I actually work with quite a few of those directors. They come to me with their scripts and they're like, how do I, because, like talking about lenses and cameras and all that stuff, they're amazing. But then they look at actors and they're like, how do I communicate with these strange creatures? And so I kind of help them. Because literally a lot of directors are terrified of actors. They're like, I don't know. They're always like, they're so emotional and I don't know what happens. And I just, and it does boil down to communication. So when the director wants something and they're trying to communicate that to the actor, you have to understand how the actor hears that or how the actor processes that, or, like, how do you as a director get the result that you want without destroying this poor actor or, whatever, or not getting what you want, or just, them misinterpreting what you're trying to accomplish. So I work with some directors who don't really have that background of like being an acting coach and a teacher and an actor. And so that stuff to them is very foreign.
Sure. Oh, no, I understand completely. In fact, you have one said, and this is important to speak about, relative to acting itself, or actors actually. Two of the biggest components is to remember, meaning in honing your craft as an actor. First of all, that there is an actual specific art to putting together the audition tape, and then second of all, working on camera in class. So I'd like you to maybe talk a bit about both of those elements, because there are, of course, actors listening in, and you feel that these are so fundamentally important for actors to be pushing and putting in the best positive way.
You mean to work on camera, and what was the other one? What did you say?
The first one was the working on camera in class that you talk about, and then second is that there's an actual art to the audition tape, or putting an audition tape together.
I mean, 100%. Like, I mean, because I do a lot. I put a lot of people on tape, so that's the way that it's changed. The great thing is we don't, there's no you don't really need a headshot, a paper headshot, a printed headshot with your resume on the back. It's all digital, which is amazing because, let's save a bazillion trees. And 20 years ago, you would go out behind these casting offices, and there would just be like dumpsters just full of like headshots. And so I'm very happy that now you don't really have to have that. But the other thing that's changed is a lot of casting directors just ask you to put yourself on tape prior to going into the room. And this it just saves them time and money. And I mean, I do put a lot of people on tape for projects that are shooting in Atlanta, or they're shooting in New York, or, so they're actually physically not in that city. But a lot of casting directors ask that you just put yourself on tape. That way, if they want to see you, they just go through that, and it saves time and money. And there's 100% there's an art to that, because you have to transcend when you're putting something on tape. The actor's job is to make it seamless. Like, it's not supposed to look like it. I mean, we know it's an audition tape, but you have to transcend and into the character that you're doing. And that's the whole process, is like, what is your process as an actor? That, what work do you do to step into that other character and make it really easy for them to hire you? Because that's your job. Your job is to not reinvent the wheel. Your job is to understand what the job requirements are of this character, pull it all apart into like a bazillion pieces and then put it back together and then step into that and then, just put it on tape, that is, I have, knock on wood, where's wood? My actors, casting directors and agents, and they call a lot, and they're just like your tapes, because it's not like a full production, like I've hired a team to put you on camera, but I do my job, the actor does his job, and I think the end result is just it's a little, honestly, it's a little piece of art. It's like a little tiny movie that shows the casting director, shows the director, whoever's watching this tape. It shows them who you are and how you understand that character, and hopefully they'll bring you in the room, and then you can get a job.
Exactly.
And I think on camera, I mean, in film and television, I mean, if you want to work in film and television and you're not working on camera, then you're crazy. But that's like people who are like, I don't have a television, I'm an actor, I don't want, you're like, what are you talking about? It's this in Los Angeles. Like, how would you, if you were doing theater, but you're like, oh, I've never been to the theater, I don't know play, you'd be like, what are you talking about? That's insane. Or a hairdresser or anybody. Like, you have to, this town, Los Angeles, is film and television. You have to understand one of the things that I always say when I'm teaching classes and stuff is the camera. So the difference between the proscenium arch and the camera and the lens is in theater acting, you take your performance to the audience, and with film and television, the camera lens brings the audience to your face. So they're under the same umbrella as acting, but directionally they're different. Does that make sense?
I was just processing that. Now it does. Now that I thought about it again, I'm like, yes, now I understand what you're saying. It does. It totally makes sense now. Yes, I agree.
So like in theater, I'm making sure that everybody out there understands whatever I'm acting. So I'm going to project, and I'm going to use it on my voice, and I'm going to, with my body language and stuff like that, I'm going to make sure that the person in the back row knows that I'm unhappy or whatever it is. Right. But in film and television, the lens brings the audience into your face and into your brain. So you have to make sure that the character is distilled and pulled apart, and that you're busy living the life of the character in your head and in your body, as opposed to showing it to everybody in the theater. I mean, it's all under the umbrella of acting, but it's different.
I get you.
Yeah.
Now, we want to clarify this because you're such a busy man and all, because I know that you've been performing as an acting coach for over 15 years. Now, you give 3 sorts of acting classes, folks. Obviously, he does private one-on-ones. He does group sessions, which is 5 to 7 pupils for a total of 3 hours. And then, of course, the actual coaching period. So if somebody's listening today and they're like, hey, I totally want to hook up with that dude, how often are you still performing or giving classes, or how do people get involved with that? Because obviously we'll go to the website.
I coach and teach every day.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, I try not to work Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., but yeah. I mean, I coach and teach all the time. I because I'm doing this new TV show that I have to finish what is it? It's October. So by the end of November, I have to finish all 12 episodes, and that will give me December to do a rewrite. I'm not going to do any group classes again till the beginning of the year, but I do private one-on-ones. I do some small classes. I have a couple of people who like to work with each other. So there's like 2 or 3 people in a class, and they come here for 2 or 3 hours. And I send the material, they come in. It's just like, again, I always say it's like the gym. Like, you just have to keep working. Like, I give them new material, we put things on tape or on camera, and then you watch it and you pull it apart and you break it down. And, if you're an actor, you better be in a class, and you better be in a class that you're working a lot and that you're on camera and that you're walking. I was, as an actor, I studied with a lot of people, and I worked with a lot of actors, and one of the things that I see is, actors spending a lot of time in class, maybe because they think the teacher is somebody well respected, and that's great. But if you're not leaving class with some new information, if you're not leaving class and having a deeper understanding of acting and you and the camera and text and material and the industry and the business of the industry, then get out of that class. Like, if you're just staying in there, I've seen people, they're like, oh, I've been in this class for 3 years. And I'm like, how are you working? And they're like, no. And to me, I'm like, wow, that doesn't sound great. Like,
exactly.
Listen, I'm sure, I think the point is to work. And so as long as you're moving forward and working, then that should be good.
That's the thing. I agree with you. And he even went so far, he produced a book about this called Lifeline, An Actor's Guide to Acting and Auditions in Hollywood.
Oh,
I also want to clarify
that is. Okay.
I saw a note about this. Are you currently working on Private Hell, or is that completed now? Because I wasn't 100% clear.
I wrote so that's a book that I wrote, which I wrote that, and I did all the art for it a long time ago. But then after I finished the book, I didn't like the art anymore. So I'm actually working with this artist in Spain. So Private Hell is 20 cautionary tales about. It's like a grown-up nursery rhyme book. It's funny, but it's deep. It's about from anorexia to AIDS and reincarnation and ageism and death and bulimia. It's about some topics that are very, very deep and heavy, but told in a way that it's funny, but it's dark. And so I have it's a guy, this amazing artist in Spain. I sent him all of the text, and he's doing the artwork for it. So hopefully that will be. I don't know when he'll be done, but hopefully sooner than later. And then that book will be out. And actually, that book is. There's a whole bunch of stuff with that book that I want to do, but we'll let him finish the art, and then we'll take it from there.
That sounds great.
And
okay,
my
I just want to
acting book
clarify
is something that I'm working on. Yeah. It's done on my end.
Oh, okay, good. Well, good. Because we want to keep track of
the writing part of it's done. Yeah, and the acting book is hopefully will be available at the beginning of next year. I'm going to self-publish that. It's just, and I know it's an actor's guide to auditions and acting in Hollywood, just because my understanding of it is so specific to Los Angeles that, I just wanted to make sure that if people were reading that because LA functions very differently than Seattle, than Chicago, than New York and London.
Agreed.
It's just it's you know what I mean? Like, it's just very specific how things are done here. And the other thing too about LA is actually it's changing a lot. So, look at film and television, or television specifically, the specifics of like a television show is like this, and this is how it's done, and here, those things are changing with Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all of that kind of stuff. Those boundaries and those parameters of how things are done are YouTube Red and all those things. There's so many different platforms for material, and I think, and that's another thing that's really specific to Los Angeles is making sure that we as a writer and director, that we stay current with how this stuff is changing, because it's changing
big time. Too fast to keep up with is what I'm hearing from my actor friends, because I tried to act once. I got drunk and I was poor at it. The scene called for alcohol, by the way, folks, but I was so bad at it. I'm like, dude, I'm never. You know how your skills, like I try to be an overachiever, so I tell everybody, you can do anything you set your mind to be. Yeah, not me. I can't act. I don't care how great you are.
Okay, well,
I can't act. I can write. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it. Too hard. Too much pressure.
Well,
I can't deal with all that.
It's just, that's the funny thing about acting, and this is one of the things that I say to everybody always. What's amazing about acting is people who are really good at it make it look really easy. And that's the funny part is that it's really, really difficult. It's not, if you think memorizing your lines or reading the script constitutes acting, then you're high, because that is not, like, the whole reality people and reality, thing that happened, and I'm sure is still or whatever. But, so all of these reality stars thought that, they were like, oh, we're actors. But like picking up a script and understanding how to break it down, understanding the job of your character, learning your lines is like, it's like reminding somebody to breathe air. Like, learning your lines is a given. That just because you have a headshot and you have an audition does not make you an actor.
Right. No,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It's not simple at all. It's very challenging, and people, that's the misconception, is people think that acting is simple, because when you look at people who do it really well, you're like, oh, well, how hard can that be? They learn some words or whatever. But that's the funny part about acting, is like, it's actually really difficult. And now being in front of people and letting go of who you are and living authentically as that other person is a lot of work.
No, I agree with you 100%. Unless you're George Clooney, because I think he could just stand and look beautiful anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, I mean, listen, watch George Clooney back in the 90s. I think he was on a sitcom. He was on a few shows, and you look at him, he's not the George Clooney you see today. George Clooney did some work, and he was on, I think he was on like the Golden Girls and or something. He was on a bunch of shows. And
don't wreck it for me, Chad. Come on.
Well, he's so
hot.
He wasn't always the George Clooney that you know.
I know. That's
but
okay.
He's pretty
I'm
awesome.
all about Team Thor anyway. He is pretty awesome, though. There's a lot of awesome actors out there, I have to say.
Yeah. There
now,
are some amazing
I want
ones.
to ask you, because the last thing we want to talk about before we move away from the acting coach guy and move to the director guy is this. And I bring this up on a very serious note, because we just talked about this on the show the other day. I feel compelled to bring this up, not just because, sadly, Harvey Weinstein just broke in news, because I think a lot of us know that those sorts of characters exist in all forums. So I want to kind of reassure folks, especially because you're in that field, per se. How do some of the people get over the phobia now, or the stigma, because it's kind of out there? He's in the news every minute, every hour lately, et cetera. And so we're obviously talking about it, which is great, because it needs to come out and people need to express that and they need to share that. But I'm afraid people are going to start being afraid of going to get professional coaching or to work with those in the industry. So talk a little bit about that, how you, being in a teaching capacity or being in the entertainment world, could kind of, maybe lessen the load fear-wise as it relates to actors or people coming to you of the opposite sex. Because I think it's serious. I think, and it isn't just a male-female thing.
No, it happens to everyone. Listen, there's a lot of creeps out there. I don't care what industry you're in. Like, it's not just the entertainment industry. It's any industry is fraught with those kind of people. And, I think, specifically for film and television, if you're coming out here to find a teacher or a coach, or if that's what we're talking about specifically, I think first off, do your research, look them up online. There's a couple people out here where if you Google them, there's all these Yelp reviews, and they're like, don't go, he's a creep, he's awful. And I just do your work, do your research. When people come, the first thing that I do when people want to study with me or coach with me or whatever, I do a consultation, and basically, that I let them come in here, and I tell them, I tell them who I am, I show them where I live. I want to make sure that they are there, because if they don't feel safe, we're never going to get the job done that we need to get done. So, I make sure that with my website and, what people say about me. And when I talk to people on the phone, I just try to be as transparent and as whatever as I can be. And I think that if you as an actor, if you are going to go meet somebody, producer, director, I don't care who it is. I mean, my clients ask me about this all the time. They're, female women usually, and they're always like, hey, this director in the Valley wants to meet me for coffee and that, and then we look up the stuff and look him up and look at the project. And we make that assessment. And I mean, at the bottom line, if it feels creepy, if you in the pit of your stomach think something's not right, don't go. You know what I mean? Like,
great advice. Well, no, but you know how it is. I mean? Like, there are some people, I think, that get desperate, you know what I mean, in terms of, they've been working at this so long, they want to get somewhere, they see a name or they recognize somebody, and sometimes it's scary. I mean, it's unfortunate that people will prey on those that are not in the same capacity or position as themselves.
Yeah.
Or, it's a control thing. It's a huge control thing.
You have to have your head screwed on straight. You have to have your head screwed on straight.
That's exactly right.
Listen, you can't, people are always like, oh my God, it's this amazing director, and he wants to meet me at the Peninsula at 10 o'clock for drinks at night. And I'm like, who? We all know what that means. You're kidding yourself if you think it's something. If if you think it's something else, you're high because
right.
And God, I don't know. As a man, like that stuff wasn't anything that ever. Honestly, I'm very thankful, but nobody ever treated, honestly, times they didn't pay attention. They always were looking at the pretty girls or whatever. And I was like, hey, so I'm on the other end where sometimes people didn't pay attention to me and I was trying to get their attention. But, I get it, for women and I just think that you have to, if it feels creepy, if you have any inkling of weirdness or whatever, then don't go because it's not going to – the chances that you go and do this film and it changes your life are slim. And I don't know, use your head. Just I don't – and if if somebody is weird or whatever, then get up and leave. And make sure people know where my clients, if they're ever concerned about something, I'm like, text me, text your boyfriend, text your whoever, take somebody with you, or just don't go. You know what I mean? Like, just don't.
That would be the best advice. Just don't show up. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. I agree. Well, thank you for touching that.
It's and Harvey and that whole thing is like, it's just it's not good. It's that it's just that behavior is about power. It's about, honestly, I don't know. That's so way over there. I don't know. It's just really not good. It's shocking, that people abuse power like that, but we see that in a lot of different areas.
I know, definitely. Well, that brings us to the director side of things, of course. I love the name, Goat Spirit Entertainment. I don't even think I need to ask where that came from, but we're going to anyways because not everyone has ever seen you, talk to you, etc. So, pray tell, where exactly did Goat Spirit Entertainment come from?
Again, I think I'm a Capricorn, so I have this weird affinity for goats. Like, I literally, when we're talking about writer's block, what happens is I'll go on those goat videos and I'll just watch baby goats run around or like goats do things. I don't know, it's so weird, but I'm obsessed. I like goats. And I have a big beard. And I was like trying to come up with a name for my production company, and I was like, probably watching a goat video, and then I have a big beard, and people always are like, oh, that's a formidable beard, and I'm like, all right, goat beard, I'm gonna be goat. It lined up one day. That was it.
Sure, I get it. I understand. Now, before we talk, I do too. I think it's really cool. Actually, it is cool compared to some of the names I see out there. Yeah, we don't even want to go there. I want to talk about before we talk about the movie that's at my festival, Follow Your Dreams. There were two that stood out to me that I'd like you to talk about, and both were done for TV. The Mean Beans and Almost Naked. Why? Because they just sound so freaking cool, and I know a little bit about them. So please tell your audience about both of them, please.
Well, the Mean Bean that was a half-hour pilot comedy presentation that, again, those were the two girls that are in that. In fact, it's so funny. Jamie, who's in that, I'm going to a premiere of her. She just directed her very first film, her short film, tonight, and I'm actually going to go watch a screening of that tonight. But her and Alyssa, they were both in class with me. They're good friends. I am obsessed with Laverne and Shirley. Like, if you look at, like, I just think the physical comedy of Laverne and Shirley, they were just so funny to me. And I work in comedy a lot,
sure.
Mostly. And these two girls, they had been in class with me for a long time, and they were friends, and I think they did a commercial together or something, and they were like writing this thing. And so that's how that evolved. I was like, these two girls, and I was like, and they wrote it, and then they would bring the script to me, and then we would talk about it and clean up the jokes and blah, blah, blah. And basically that all just turned into, we filmed it and used it as a pitch to pitch a show, which is hilarious because it was the same time exactly that Two Broke Girls came out. So if you look at the actress, the blonde girl in Two Broke Girls, she looks very similar to Jamie, who's in The Mean Bean, and we'd be driving down the street, and all of a sudden there was this big billboard, and it said Two Broke Girls, and the blonde girl who was, and the concepts of the show are really, really similar, and we were like, oh my God, that is the craziest thing ever. So needless to say, we didn't sell that show because they had our Two Broke Girls just started that year. So
gotcha. That's
what happened with that. Yeah, it was really funny, an amazing comedy. Worked with Jonathan Bennett. I've worked with him a lot. He's a good friend and client who's in Mean Girls. He was the guy in that, and there's a bunch of people. That's the great thing about being in this industry for so long is that I know a million actors, recognizable, awesome, funny, talented people. So when I'm doing something, I'm always like, I think I have clients in mind when I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that person or let's see if, I did a short film with Stephen Amell, who is Arrow, and then Christina Ochoa, who is, have you seen the new billboards for Valor on the CW? I did a short film with those two in it in 2009 or something like that. And the year after that, after we did the short film, that's right when Arrow started, and she is now the lead of a CW series as well called Valor. So everywhere I drive, and I'm sure where you live too, there's those billboards of that girl, and it's called Valor on CW. So I have awesome, talented, amazing clients who go on to be the star of their own TV show.
That's so cool. That is, and that leads us to my favorite, Follow Your Dreams. I like it. One of the first things I liked was the title caught me immediately because it's so pertinent to it says so much to begin with. And then, of course, when I watched the film, and then we had 3 other judges watch the film, and I was like, yay, right. I love this film. It has to be at my festival. Now, obviously, of course, I don't want to give away too much just because of the fact that, of course, right. I'll let you summarize your own film because, of course, I could tell the whole story because I've had to watch it repeated numbers of times for various reasons.
Lord.
It's a fun film, as you have mentioned, and I agree with you. It's totally a fun film.
Yeah,
and the main actor is awesome. The guy who plays the lead actor, the clown. And I love the fact that he has a nice clown, kids. He's a nice clown. Not a Pennywise, by the way. He's a nice clown. No. He's a Jimmy Stewart kind of clown. He's a nice guy. He's very sweet. Yes. Have you worked with him before? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's a client. Yeah, he's a client of mine. Mm-hmm. So what happened with that film is that he and his wife were at a gas station, and a guy walked in to the gas station wearing like some crazy outfit. And because we live in Los Angeles, he was like, I wonder if that guy is really a cowboy or if he's just, you know, is he going to an audition or something like that. So without giving away the film, but
right.
So he came to me and he was like, you know, kind of pitched the premise, and I was like, yeah, great. So I for like, I think I wrote that script in like, you know, 6 months or something like that. So he came to me, he had the investors, he came to me with the idea, I wrote it, and then he and I went back and forth and, you know, edited and the script and changed it, and, you know, things went here and things went there, and then we finally landed on that. And, you know, then we did that film, and it's very, you know, one of the things is that I knew he was the lead, and I knew he was going to be the lead of that. And because he had been studying with me, it was really easy to write a script that really catered to his strengths. So, you know, as opposed to like you just auditioning for some random thing that you know nothing about, this was actually, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about marketing and branding and, you know, his sensibility, because I think the film is very sweet. It's very family friendly. It's, you know, it's kind of, you feel good and you're like, oh, it's so cute. And that definitely was, you know, as a writer and as a director, you don't always, you know, that was a collaboration between him and me, because I think my sensibility is probably a bit darker and a bit crazier, and, you know, like my private hell book that we've talked about, some of the things that topics and stuff that I'm interested in probably would be a bit more edgy, but he, you know, where he was coming from and what they were trying to do. So, you know, that's a good example of, as a writer, you have to, and as a director, you have to listen, and you have to hear what, you know, people want, or, you know, what the genre, what the concept of the project is that you're working on, and everybody needs to be on the same page. Otherwise, and that's the thing that I said, you know, with this film, is that when we put our team together and everybody, our very first meeting, you know, we were all in the room, and I just said to everybody, I go, okay, you know, I love the script. I love everybody that we've cast. It's going to be amazing. But I want everyone to walk away from this and have a really great experience, because, as you know, working in this industry, there's a lot of like stress, and people are like, oh my God, it's not done. And like everybody gets all chaotic and crazy. And I just was like, I'm not interested in chaos. So let's do this, and let's do it right. And let's do all of our prep work, and make a product a short film that we're really happy with. And we did. And we had some amazing people working on it, and like an amazing DP. Roman Jacoby was our DP, and he is amazing. And editors and actors, everybody on it was fantastic.
I bet. That's so awesome. And it is fantastic, folks. I'm not just saying that because I was one of the judges. But in reality, it's one of those, nowadays I really truly believe a lot of us need an escape from, sadly, our most recent realities in life, because they are so sad on a 24/7 basis, and we never know what's coming. So sometimes just to be able to escape to be able to escape into fan-friendly, or should I say fun film, is one of those things. And that's one of the reasons why I'm glad we accepted it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you accepted it too.
Well, and not only that, I get to meet you in person. See, what people don't understand is, because I interview people all the time, they think I meet them 24/7, and I'm like, no, this is why I do internet appeal. I wish I could get to everybody that I interview, because I've, done 290, 300 interviews, and I haven't even met half these people, and it makes me sad. So the fact that you're willing to come out and shake my hand and participate in Q&A, I'm so excited about this.
Oh my gosh,
and
I love going out to these things. Yeah.
Not to mention, you're probably one of the easiest going filmmakers I've had so far. I mean, I love my filmmakers. I said that earlier in the interview before you got on. I'm like, I have been blessed with some of the best filmmakers that we've accepted. There's only really been two that I've literally been like, see you, bye, I don't want to talk to you. So I feel reassured that I picked some great people with great films. I'm not too petrified. You didn't yell at me about the venue change, so I appreciate that. Now I only have one more question for you, because if I talk to any more, my kids will be stuck at school. Because we've been talking a while, and I love it. This has been awesome.
Oh,
I have to ask
I'm
the most
glad.
important question. Well, this is a huge question, and we can't not do this interview without asking the obvious, which is this. I'm all about this factor. I truly believe that I am only a reflection of what surrounds me. And so luckily for me, I have a lot of great talent, directors, actors, creatives, artists, period. So what I want to ask you is the last question is, because you've been married for 9 years to that wonderful gentleman, I want to know how having that sort of affinity and affection
support
affects
system?
the person. Yeah, no kidding. Professionally and personally, how does that make a difference? Because I think people take for granted the fact that they can sustain. And I think that that's a huge thing, that support, that love, that affinity, that's important. So if
oh
you
my
could, just talk to us
gosh.
about that.
Yeah, there's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole show.
But I could go on forever. But listen, here's the thing. For me, is that I was lucky. I mean, we've been together 17 years. Tomorrow is our anniversary, I think. Oh yeah, tomorrow is our anniversary. How funny.
Good thing I brought it up, folks.
You know, oh my God, that's so funny. I always forget. But you know, it's been 17 years, and I have to say that it is. Without getting into like, you know, gay marriage and this and that, but I have to say is that when we weren't recognized as being married, like I never really thought about, I need to get married. It wasn't something that was really, you know, important to me. I mean, I wanted to be with somebody, but I was like, I don't care about a piece of paper. But getting married changed things. And it has allowed, you know, it's awesome to be recognized. You know, it's great that, I don't know, I have, you know, not to get too deep into it, but it changed me personally. Like being married, the day after we got married, or month, you know, whatever, I was like, oh, I get it. I get why this is important. And, you know, having somebody who, listen, he doesn't like all, you know, everything that I do, but he's so supportive, and he's like, you know, go do your thing, and then I support him, and he goes and does his thing, and at the end of the day, you know, it's so nice that I don't have to think or worry about like dating or something like that. The writing and directing and teaching and coaching pretty much takes up all of my time, so I'm glad that is not something that I have to think about. And plus, he's just awesome, and he's so supportive, and he's a nice guy, and you know, I think the crux of like our relationship is really just on trust. You know, like I trust him and he trusts me, and that's all there. You know, we really try to keep the air, like there's no secrets. It just is, and it just is what it is. And so, like, you know, I was like, we just keep that really simple, and it just is what it is. We get to be together. It's awesome, and we have a great life, and life is fun. And we have enough drama in, like, listen, we have enough drama in he works for a very big, you know, company. That's an amazing company, but it's also like it's exhausting. So he doesn't need drama at home, and I'm trying to sell a TV show and this and that, and so we just, you know, we're like, no drama at home. We just keep it simple.
Good for you.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
awesome. Thank you. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
It took 17 years to get there. Trust me. Trust me. But that's, again, like, just like anything, it requires some attention, and, you know, you have to work at it, and there are arguments, and there's sometimes not enough money or whatever it is, like everything. But the bottom line is it's all going to be fine. It is what it is. You know, everybody just calm down. That's what we're like, calm down, everybody. Just relax.
Thank you for sharing that. See, that's why I wanted to ask that. I'm like, that's always the awe question. So I'm like, we have to end that on a positive note there. There you go. Now here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to read through different ways to find you. first of all, I don't want to forget to remind everybody the obvious. Follow Your Dreams, which is his short film, is going to be playing at 4:15 on the very first day of my festival, which is October 26th.
Right.
In case no one noticed or don't pay attention, it's been moved now to the Doghouse Craft and Kitchen, which is actually located in the Four Points Sheridan Hotel. Isn't that schwanky and awesome on West 25th Street, which I'm going to promote day and night. Thank you very much. I'm going to try. We can fit 70 comfortably, so I'm going to try to fill that mother up with that short block, so we'll see how it goes. I don't want to forget to remind you, 2 hours after this show is done, I'll send you an archived copy of both the Blog Talk Radio link, plus I upload these to YouTube. So you get the YouTube link as well as this link so that you can have that. I have a wonderful filmmaker pass for you once you get there, so you'll be allowed in. And, of course, you know I've already invited you, right? If you would love to, I would love to have you for the writer panel or for the director panel or the actor panel. That's up to you. I'm thinking you probably say no on the actor thing, but that's okay.
You tell me.
So I'll
me
throw
what
that out there.
If I'm there,
I will.
You know me. I can talk. I have zero problem talking. So, yeah.
No, really? Yes, hasn't he? He's talked about. All right, so I'm going to read off a bunch of these. His website, of course, folks, and that's including his projects as well as, of course, if you want to reach him for acting classes, it's chadmccord.com. He can also be found on the following places: IMDb, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube. His Facebook, he has a personal page, and the last name, of course, it's Chad McCord. That's MCCORD, as well as Chad McCord Actor Studio. His Twitter handle is @andchad, and then _ MCCORD. And I just have a quick question, because when I clicked on your Instagram, I know it says Mr. Chad, but it doesn't look like you, and that's why I'm like, dude, what's up with that? Did you know that?
Oh,
I looked at your Instagram, I'm like, is that
I'm
him?
Not Mr. Oh, that's
you know
so
what?
funny.
It's on your Facebook, darling. You better change it, because that's how I found it. I was on your Facebook page, and it says Instagram, Mr. Chad. Also Vimeo, folks. I don't want to forget to mention that. But no, seriously, that's why I thought I'd ask you if you knew that or not.
Oh, no. I think Instagram, it should just be Chad M. McCord on Instagram.
See, that's what I thought too, but look at your Facebook profile, because I don't want people to go on there and then thinking, because I looked at the picture and I thought, this can't be him, because I know what you look like, obviously, so clearly that couldn't have been
there was a
him.
Mr. Chad. That's not me. I don't know who that is, but I'll fix my Instagram link.
So
My Instagram
Please
is Chad M. McCord. Yeah, I will, of course. That's so weird.
Okay, so that fixes that.
Awesome.
And, of course, obviously, the film we're talking about, which is on Facebook, is called FYD, and in other words, Follow Your Dreams, which is FYD Film. So please go ahead and check that out as well. Or we encourage, of course, coming to the festival, because then you get to see his pretty face as well as mine, and you get to hear us both yap. And we'll see who talks more, because I think we're both talkers, so that's good. So, yes. So I have the last thing I get to do is I get to tell you a quick few thoughts of what I think of you, because unfortunately I'm running myself out of time, and I'm so sorry. But you know what? I had a wonderful time. I hope that I've done you justice. This is what I can tell you, folks, that I know about Mr. McCord. First of all, the first few times I looked at his pictures, he scared the hell out of me, because I literally thought I was going to have, remember Tom Hanks from Castaway coming to my festival, you know, with a big beard and this scary-looking dude, and I'm like, okay. Then I spent a good deal of time watching and researching and digging into him and just seeing what he posted, just seeing what he played out in terms of on film. And this is what I've discovered about him. I like to call him a Gentile individual, not because of the fact that he's gay, but because of the fact that he treats every one of his talents with kid gloves in the best sense of the word, as well as he treats his subject matter with the same love of heart. I can tell that he carries passion for what he does, because it comes across on screen so eloquently, from audio to actual acting to actual storytelling and scenery. Everything is on point, 150%. I know that his body of work is not 80 films, but within the 8 course of films that he's done, every one of them has had that same momentum and magic that goes in there. What I know about you to be true, my friend, is that you carry a very free spirit with a very fun-loving heart. So one of the best things that I want to find out about you when I meet you in person is if you are this lovely in person, because I guarantee you all of your work is just filled with love and fun, and I couldn't say enough about you. I'm honored that you're going to be part of my festival, and I'm even more honored that you gave me an hour and a half of your time. I think you're just badass.
Oh, my gosh,
I can't wait to see you.
Oh, please.
I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. It was wonderful talking to you, and thank you for those kind words. That's very sweet of you.
Well, it's very true.
It's all
true,
because
but
sometimes it's very sweet. Yeah.
But no, honestly, us as teachers and coaches, et cetera, oftentimes we're facilitators, so you don't really get a chance to hear what somebody else thinks of you. So I wanted you to know from me to you, because I'll probably be so damn busy when I meet you for the first time that it's going to be nuts. So hopefully it'll all go well. I'm crossing my fingers that we have a wonderful festival. And please know this, even after the festival, come back in 3 months, come back in 6 months. You're always welcome to come on the show to promote something. It's a great venue.
Oh, my gosh.
Terrific. Oh, it's awesome.
I will for sure.
Oh,
very
good.
much. Thank you so much.
You go.
Thank you.
You go back to writing. I'm going to go get my children. I'll send you off our link. I'll see you soon, my dear. You take care. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Have a good one, honey.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Isn't he amazing, right? Tell me I didn't get lucky here with my filmmakers. Thank you so much. One more time to round up before we forget. His name is Chad McCord. The name of the film is called Follow Your Dreams. On Facebook, you can find it as FYD Film. Obviously, as I mentioned, 10/26, October 26th at the Doghouse Craft and Kitchen, which is located inside the Four Points Hilton on West 25th Street, oh my God, isn't this terrible? It's my film festival and I've forgotten where it is already. Just kidding. 160 West 25th Street inside the Sheridan Hotel. Follow Your Dreams, 10/26 at 4:15 p.m. It's a 15-minute screening followed by a Q&A with both myself and Chad. His website, chadmccord.com. He can also be found on IMDb, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook. He has a personal page as well as Chad McCord Actor Studio. His Twitter handle is at Chad_McCord. And the Instagram, of course, is Chad M. McCord, as he mentioned. Huge thanks and hugs to Chad, of course, and I'll see you soon once again. Tomorrow, as a reminder, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, the 3 big Ds. And I so wish Heather was coming on, and we'll miss you, Heather. Deborah Markowitz, along with her 2 lead stars, Ciaran Sheehan, as well as Jennifer Giles, are coming on the show to promote The Waiting Room at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. I guarantee you that'll be another 2-hour show because we all have the gift of gab. So please make sure that you tune in sometime, folks. You can see I've been talking too long now. Please make sure you tune in tomorrow. And also on Wednesday, one more reminder, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, we have Junie Moon Schreiber, who is promoting her film, Shed the Shame. And at 2 o'clock, short film, Lou. Lead actor Pete Dorton is coming on the show. So looking forward to that. Then I just got wind during our interview today that apparently Elizabeth is going to have to reschedule her show for Thursday, which means after Wednesday I'll be off air until Halloween. And then we return back, of course, with Alyssa from Real Estate Wars on Bravo. You guys have a great afternoon. I'm going to go get my beautiful children. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.